place on the internet where you're going to find out about all the latest gaming news. As always, I'm your host, Andrew Hamilton, and I'm joined here by my co-host, Royden Ogletree. There's a lot happening.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah.
Valhalla. That is me.
We're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. We're going to go through what happened at the Grammys with the first ever real acknowledgement of that video games aren't just a phase, Dad. We're going to go through the various games that are live service games that have shut down and what that trend is kind of showing us. We have an official statement from the EU's CMA to find out what's going on there with the Microsoft Activision Blizzard purchase. We're going to talk about the Nintendo Direct that happened on Wednesday, because this will be up on Friday. And I just remembered that right as I was about to say today.
Mm-hmm.
Today, the day that we filmed it, but Wednesday for you because it's Friday now. You got time where you live? I guess you got it. All right, and then we're going to talk about some other stuff here and there. But yeah, so let's just go ahead and get into it with the Grammys. For the first time ever, they got an official category for interactive medium and video games soundtracks, and then they proceeded to nominate like the ones that don't have the best soundtracks. How did our options end up being Assassin's Creed versus Modern Warfare 2 for soundtracks? Elden Ring and God of War came out last year.
No, it wasn't Modern. It was Modern Warfare Vanguard. Or no, sorry, it was Call of Duty Vanguard.
I thought it was Modern Warfare 2.
No, according to the article, it was Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Call of Duty Vanguard, two games that came out 2 years ago.
What was the criteria?
Well, by now, 3 years ago. But like, I don't know how the Grammys work, and somebody, if you're watching this, please comment to us. But like albums, there was a Coldplay album that was nominated for the Grammys that are this year, and I understand that like they try to encompass the year in music, and that's why they have these award shows in February and March.
Yeah.
There was a Coldplay album that was nominated from 2020.
Yeah, well, and even then, that's I don't understand. But even then, like the Game Awards is able to include things that are released up to 2 weeks before the award show. So, like, God of War made it in, even though it came out only, a month beforehand. Like, you couldn't... I don't understand how none of the games from last year made... Like, so many games... Rollerdrome had a freaking incredible soundtrack.
Well, I mean, Bear McCreary got nominated, but it was for Call of Duty.
Yeah, anyway, so congratulations, Assassin's Creed this.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
What he said.
Valhalla.
How do you mess up Valhalla? Valhalla isn't even a gaming word. That's just Nordic. It's just Norse. I don't understand.
There was a nomination. They used to be able to, in the score category, you could nominate anything.
Yeah.
But a video game had only received that once ever, and that was a nomination for Journey for Austin Wintory in 2012.
Which great soundtrack.
Wintory was nominated this year for Aliens Fireteam Elite, alongside Bear McCreary for Call of Duty Vanguard, Christopher Tin for Old World, and Richard Jacques for Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, yeah. But these are those games came out
2021.
Dawn of Ragnarok.
Yeah, which came out last year, or came out in 2021.
Okay.
So, it sounds like it was 2021 to like early 2022, maybe.
They encompass a few years in there, like maybe women. But even still,
then, why would you do that? Hey, Grammys, if you're going to include video games, can you at least have the decency to include like?
Talk to somebody who's played a video game.
Just plan it out better next time. I feel like this was like real.
It is funny the albums and things that win the awards that are won before they go on the air.
Yeah.
Like somebody was telling me, my good friend Dex Hinton was telling me, you're watching totally, but he was telling me that you get a nomination for best album description. Like, when you open up a CD and then all the writing in the album. That's
not real.
No, that's real.
Oh, my God.
You get a Grammy for that. I mean, Viola Davis is now an EGOT winner because she was nominated and won for audiobook.
Okay, that makes more sense at least. At least it's audio driven. But like, Man, I want to win a Grammy for something that just feels pointless.
Yeah.
Like best reverse cover.
Best YouTube acoustic cover.
Yeah. Best Vivo account. Like
Best you Shazam real good.
just standing in the corner. I want a Grammy for this. Anyway,
I'm great at punching that like in a Taco Bell parking lot. I'm really good at like hitting that Shazam.
Hopefully this is the first of a far more inclusive industry. I'd like to see this kind of padded out more across other stuff. I mean, you're not going to see these kinds of categories brought up in like the Oscars or whatever. But I think that maybe like there's a lot of CG short films and stuff that get made for video games that don't get counted towards anything. That could be a category in and of itself for the Oscars. But yeah, for sure, Grammys.
The short films that are made are definitely worth consideration.
Yeah. But also like
I mean, they win their own awards for whatever, like advertisement awards or whatever. I mean, specifically it is the film medium for the Oscars and stuff like that. But like, I don't know, the Mad World trailer for Gears of War could have won a Best Short Film Oscar.
Hell yeah, it could have. Are you kidding me? Anyway, all right, let's move on to the next thing. Because while a live service game like Assassin's Creed Ragnarok won Best Soundtrack, multiple other ones have been suffering. We are seeing the cracks in the armor of the live service gaming model. We had Marvel's Avengers announced their shutdown.
They're dead.
For service,
they died.
Coming in May. We just found out that in June, Knockout City is going to be shut down. That's only been up for a couple years. That's the dodgeball game. You've probably never heard of it because there's too many games in the free-to-play space for this to work. Turtle Rock has already abandoned Back 4 Blood, their spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead. It was a Left 4 Dead though.
Left 4 Dead. Oh,
got him. But so it's like I think the problem is that now that things like Call of Duty and Fortnite are so huge and they dominate that space, that free-to-play model can't be nearly as lucrative for someone like an indie developer anymore because that space is so heavily controlled that like EA has got Apex,
Well, is Fortnite Bungie? Is that
it's Epic Games.
Epic Games,
yeah.
And were they an indie studio before? No, they weren't.
Epic Games is the maker of Unreal Engine.
Oh, well, then never mind.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, well,
they're one of the largest video game companies and one of the most influential.
That indie success story, Fortnite, shows you how much I know. But I think. You continue your point. Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, so I just think that there's not room for this kind of stuff. And these free-to-play models, like when it was a few games asking me to pay $10 for a season pass or whatever, or a battle pass every so often, and like, the game was free, sure, yeah. But now there's like 1,000 of those, and my friends don't play 1,000 games, and I don't even play 1,000 games, and I'm not going to play your weird niche game that has 6 players in it and pay you $10. So how are you going to support this game?
What was the last big one to cut like Fall Guy?
Even Fall Guys already like it does.
They
well,
already
were I think they
repurchased and retooled, right?
I mean, no, but there's a lot of like loss and drops in their stuff, but they have peaks and valleys. The last big success from this was. Like this style, aside from like Fortnite and Warzone, is probably Rocket League.
Yeah,
Rocket League's isn't free to play, or wasn't free to play at least initially, but they used the PlayStation Plus service and have since used Xbox Game Pass and Nintendo Switch Online to really bolster their audience, and providing that free, consistent drip of content and stuff really helped. And then subtle microtransactions to start with, and then full-on loot boxes now, and I hate that. So you can take those back if you want. There's also battle passes, hate that, don't want that.
Well, we're missing something on top of all of this. They made a fun game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the main thing.
That's the main thing. Make a good game,
City.
simply be better.
But that's not even always the case. So, and we'll talk about this more here in a minute with the CMA thing and the Call of Duty stuff. Yeah. We've talked about it before, that making a good game doesn't make your game successful.
Not anymore, no.
Because
It's a good start.
Yeah, it's a good start, and you have to rely so heavily on word of mouth for like influence and stuff to stream your game and get your game out there. But that doesn't even always work because some games just are like they might be fun whenever you get into them, but watching someone play them doesn't feel that appealing. I think a good example of a recent one was that vampire game that is now escaping my
Vampire.
No, it's like a Vampire Dungeon. It's like, top-down isometric.
Yeah.
Like bullet hell kind of game. I heard about that through so many influencers, and then the marketing showed up, and they like it became a big announcement that they were coming to PC or that they were coming to mobile and stuff. And it's like, well, this game came out of nowhere. Why does everyone care all of a sudden? Like. So many games get that role, and sometimes you get like No Man's Sky, where you get Sony behind that, and that game developed by 25 people, gets pushed up into AAA status. I think the same thing kind of happened with games like Sifu and Roller Drome last year, where even though they weren't published by Sony's hand in making those games look bigger than they were, really helped sell those games and continuously sell them.
I mean, it takes a marketing push for something that these studios can't afford. Like, to get really good marketing for your project costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
The rule for films is that you're supposed to spend your budget.
Yeah.
The budget you spend on the movie is the budget that you spend for marketing.
Right. Yeah, you got to match it.
Yeah.
And that's just not reasonable for most indie developers.
Yeah, I mean...
So I think that the idea that just because you make a good game puts you in the running against things like... But like, dude, when on the splash page, there's Call of Duty and Fortnite, and then your ragtag team game or whatever with 6 shooters, and it's... Especially, guys, developers, if you're making a hero shooter, stop. Don't do that. Don't make a hero shooter. You will have to compete against Call of Duty, and you'll have to compete against Overwatch and Rainbow Six. You can't, I'm sorry, you can't win that battle. They will crush you. And that sucks. But also, there's too many hero shooters.
Also,
make something different.
Yeah, also if you're trying to make a battle royale, I think people have stopped since college, but like PUBG has so many players, and they're still like, please play us. I just think, no, I don't know, man.
And even streaming's becoming less influence on it.
I like free-to-play games. Like, look, I spend so much money already on games, and there's a couple problems here. Is that one, there's just like, at the end of the day, there's really not enough even space on your console if you're a console gamer.
Yeah. You run through that.
The people who watch this are like on stream or like, but I'm like, we're not talking about you. Sorry, we love you, but you know who we're talking about.
Even PC games get huge though.
Yeah, I just think, I don't know. I don't have the answer for it, but I like free-to-play games.
Yeah.
When I find them.
Yeah, I'm not saying that free-to-play needs to go away. I'm saying that the space, like these live service games, they are using the model that like Fortnite and Call of Duty created.
Yeah.
And you can't do that whenever you have not the Fortnite.
You have no money budget, to start with. Yeah.
You have to think smaller, and that's what I was talking about with Rocket League. Is starting with those $1.99 deals.
I was gonna say, do you think it becomes something where it's like, all games are $70 now because we bumped that up for some reason, but inflation hitting us get it together, Joe.
Not inflation.
It's not. Do you think it'll be something where they start? Well, let's drip this out there for like $10.99. You know what I mean?
I mean,
or was that not even work? Because the people are going to be like, I'm not even going to give a damn about this $10.99 game.
Yeah,
I'd only play it if it was free.
Yeah, there's lots of people who think like that. I think Game Pass has probably been a big help to a lot of games like that. And I could see the PlayStation Plus and Game Pass model becoming the way of the free-to-play game, where the game isn't free, but it's free if you have this service or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that the idea is not to take free-to-play away, but to make your free-to-play more unique. Take it, do a battle pass and put like all the best stuff on the free side, and give an optional set of like cosmetics and stuff for the paid side, but make sure that you're balancing that out. Or alternatively, don't do a battle pass and just reward people who play a long time, and then give them
a dopamine hit.
Give them alternate ways to support you. Buy this, you get 6 skins for every month you play or whatever, but you can get 8 if you buy the extra 2 that are on the store or whatever. I think there's a way around it. The other side is that the system has become so messed up on like the economic side of things. Like, we talked about it before with DLC or with skins going for like $15 to $20 when they should be going for like $4. And if you take that and you try to apply it to your single play or to your free-to-play game, and you're like an indie studio and you've got servers that can host 1,200 people, dude, no one's paying $20 and $10 for your battle pass. Like, that's not happening. I don't necessarily think those are the problems here. I think that these games were very one-hit kind of goes. I think Back 4 Blood didn't review well, so they abandoned it. I think Knockout City did very well initially, but it was initially shown to us by Nintendo during a direct, but it was never brought back up and continued to show in directs. So it wasn't part of the marketing or anything for anything. So I don't think it was put into the public eye. And these things matter because when you get to something as big as the Microsoft Activision Blizzard.
What a transition.
Purchase, you know it.
That's why you pay
Masterful. No one's paying me.
Well, they pay you the minimum dollars.
That's why they pay me in toast. But yeah, so I mean, when we're talking about something as big as this Microsoft Activision purchase, these things matter. And the CMA agrees with me. That is the FTC of the EU.
Across the pond.
So many acronyms. They basically came out with their full statement. I don't have the full statement here, but I'm going to kind of,
give them the gist,
summarize.
Johnny.
I'm going to give you the gist. So basically, due to Microsoft having already basically cornered what they see as the market of cloud gaming, the massive amount of IPs involved in this Activision Blizzard purchase, the height of those IPs, and the way that those things becoming exclusive, whether Microsoft says that they're going to or not.
Promise we won't.
The potential for them to ever go exclusive and stuff is too great of a risk to both the gaming community, who would be fractured, and the development side, where it would put an unfair advantage in Microsoft's court. This is basically what I was saying before, and I've heard the argument, that Sony has exclusives too. I saw this argument pop up a lot recently with the success of the Last of Us TV show. They're like, yeah, The Last of Us, a game that sold 10 million copies at launch or whatever. I think it's sold like 18 million now. And it's the most successful video game adaptation show ever. Don't tell me there's not brand awareness for PlayStation. No one was saying there wasn't brand awareness for PlayStation. But there's like 35 million PS5s in the world. And like, I don't know, 115 million or something like that PS4s. 18 million copies is like nothing out of that amount. Like that's barely any of the actual install base. So yes, there's big brand awareness. That's because of all the advertising.
I think it's way more for part one than, not like part one, but like in general. I think it's actually a lot more.
Yeah, I was talking about part two for the.
Oh, part two, okay.
But even then, like even if you put them together, that's across 3. If you're looking at part one, that's across 3 generations of consoles. For PS3, PS4, and part one on PS5 sales. That's 3, like not one game. Call of Duty is the best-selling game every year there's a Call of Duty game. I can't stress that enough, which is basically what they brought up here. So essentially, they've decided to recommend against it. but they did put some stipulations. So they said that they are willing to reevaluate this deal if Microsoft either divests Call of Duty, meaning gets rid of Call of Duty, or Activision, or divests Activision and Blizzard, but keeps Call of Duty. Divest? I don't know. That sounded right when I said it.
Divest?
Sure. And then they would maybe allow this to happen. I don't see them abandoning any part of this deal if they don't. I mean, I could see them potentially looking at some other options. It did seem to note that the CMA is totally fine with them putting Call of Duty on Game Pass, which I don't really have a problem with. But that's about the only positive thing they give. We also got a poll ran on a bunch of Call of Duty players, specifically on PlayStation platform, who said about 24% of them said that they would be willing to switch to Xbox if Call of Duty became
Let me tell you
Xbox
something.
exclusive.
I enjoyed this last Call of Duty. I also enjoy McDonald's. If I never had McDonald's again, would it be better for me? Probably.
Yeah. I'm not swapping consoles for cancer.
Yeah, really.
I'm good.
Oh man, I'd put down my vape to go back to analog cigarettes.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that there's so many things that, like, Activision Blizzard has that just make it a potential threat to the entirety of.
Well, look, it's like if American Airlines was like, "Hey, we're also buying Southwest."
Yeah, that would be insane.
And then everybody came up and was like, "Well, Spirit bought Frontier," and you're just
Yeah.
we're not talking about the same size companies here or the same selling base here. I just think it's all by the CMA and FTC, is that the Federal Trade Commission?
Yeah.
It's all based on speculation of what Microsoft might do.
Which they have to take into account anything that could happen and whether or not the potential from that creates an unfair environment. They also did listen to developers from across the countries in the EU and apparently was overwhelmingly not great in response to that. And I think a lot of that comes from, like we were talking about, that we saw this push from like weird people coming out to defend a corporation. Stop that. It's strange.
They don't care about you.
They don't care about you. They just want your money, and they'll get it one way or another. So they don't need you to come out and do it.
Corporations aren't your friend.
Bow. Put it on the screen. I won't remember.
No, they're stop defending billionaires. Stop defending mega corporations.
Yeah, it's weird. They don't care about you.
Twitter crashed today, by the way.
Yeah,
Speaking
during
of,
the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah,
which had a lot of
absolutely.
fans pissed.
So it's basic, like trying to break up a monopoly before it happens on speculation is like dicey, but also like
We've historically not done it,
Yeah.
and it's been a problem.
yeah, and it has turned like waiting until it becomes a monopoly and then being like, oh, we got to react. It's like a harder thing, I think, to do.
Like, and I feel like the Microsoft has done a very good job of trying to position themselves as a weird underdog, while also remaining Microsoft. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Can't do both.
they're like, oh yeah, no, we only got like 23% of the mind share for Xbox. I'm like, yeah, but you're also Microsoft. So it doesn't matter that, like, just make better games and people will buy your console. Like, your problem isn't that you don't have enough exclusives that are big enough names. It's that you don't make consistently good games on your own.
Now, look, we'd probably be saying the same thing if Sony was like all of a sudden like,
if Sony wanted to buy Activision Blizzard, I would absolutely be against that because it would do the same thing.
yeah, Sony's like all of a sudden, we own Minecraft, and you're just like, whoa.
The only company that's allowed to purchase Activision Blizzard is Nintendo. Just because I want to see what.
Not like they're not making money hand over fist.
I just want to know what happens if that happens, you know?
Yeah.
But I saw people.
They would make it a monopoly. They would own it.
Nintendo would own Call of Duty and would get like the Me-topia version of Call of Duty, and I would play it.
that.
You would still play it, but
Wii Sports with Captain Shepard.
I think that it's
General.
funny that we hear that these people coming out to defend these corporations, and they're like, Well, Sony, just make a better game than Call of Duty. Dude, there's lots of games that are as good as or better than Call of Duty. Honestly, they're not even the best shooter I play.
No.
I like Call of Duty because it's a fairly polished
Again,
product.
man.
But like,
why do you go to McDonald's? Why do we see Marvel movies?
yeah.
Why? It's all brand recognition, man.
Well, and even that,
and it's all over the world, but us Americans and brand recognition, it's like, is there maybe a better theme park and that you get more bang for your buck than Disney?
hell yeah.
Probably.
But does it have Iron Man
Yeah,
and the
but-
Millennium Falcon?
Does it have a
Does it?
mouse?
Yeah, is there? I mean, yeah, the one I go to it's got a horrible rodent problem.
It's just abhorrent. No, I just think it's all brand recognition. So like
I
arguing,
think it's a lot of that, but it's
arguing
even,
to we make that joke all the time, but like simply make a better game.
Yeah.
That isn't applicable here.
Yeah, I don't, even if you do make a better game, there's no guarantee that it beats out the brand recognition of Call of Duty. And on top of that, that's not even what this is about. This isn't about Microsoft making a better game than Sony. This is about Microsoft knowing that they haven't made a game that has done well, and then just buying the competition's best-selling game too. They're just like, well, I mean, technically they didn't make that either, but you didn't make it either. And even if you buy this company, you won't be making it. You bought the company that makes the thing. That'd be like Tesla buying Apple and then deciding that Elon Musk invented the iPhone. Like,
wait,
hold on, that's a little too real.
Anyway,
But we'll move on, but we'll keep a close eye on this. There's still a lot of discussion. The FTC has filed a lawsuit against Activision Blizzard and Microsoft. There's still an ongoing investigation in Europe. There's a few other countries that haven't even weighed in yet. That's the biggest thing about this. This is an international purchase.
those CEOs gotten their bonuses yet?
I'm sure they will. Also, speaking of CEOs, Bobby Kotick, don't go on talk shows. Don't show your face around here. Don't come out here like, yeah, I think that the FTC and the CMA they've really lost their way. They really don't understand our industry. Dude, you just had to pay $35 million in legal fees because of allegations against you. Get off my TV. You don't know our industry.
Speaking of what does know our industry, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Nintendo Direct.
We got a Nintendo Direct on this day of February 8th.
8th, yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Keeping track of days is so hard,
February 8th.
man. I don't know what's going on.
I haven't watched many Nintendo Directs, but I'll just say this. We were talking about it like right when we started, but like, what a great way to just put out your product.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that kind of Microsoft, Sony put out, we love PlayStation, but PlayStation put out individual videos for every single one of their games that I then had to go and click through and be like, this is a trailer for this game. This is a trailer. Nintendo, and I'm sure they will do that eventually, but Nintendo was like, let me just stream this right into your main vein.
Yeah, well, so like State of Play is exactly like this, but they put out the videos after the fact. But
it felt so seamless to me.
Yeah, it's Nintendo probably does it the best, I'd have to say. State of Play is a little clunky at times. Nintendo's got the best flow. They know what they're doing, and Devolver Digital does Devolver Direct now because of that. It's a parody, basically, but still they're actually advertising, so it's not really that much of a parody, is it, Devolver? Microsoft just did a Developer Direct. I mean, everyone's copying Nintendo style. You the real one, Nintendo. Especially since you're out here bringing just a whole bunch of classics home. Starting off with Pikmin 4.
Mm-hmm.
I also made a new T-shirt.
Are you a huge Pikmin fan?
No.
I played 3 and 1, and I like them. They're cute little fun puzzle games. I mean, they're just like a good time.
There's a lot of puzzle games, a lot of like retreads or like remasters and stuff actually for this. It's like they're kind of like doing all the remasters because they know that like the Switch isn't going to be around for very much longer.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with padding time for development. I don't know we haven't heard an update from like Metroid Prime 4 in a while. So I'm guessing that this Metroid Prime, remaster feels very much like whenever they announced the Nathan Drake collection right before announcing the delay of Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
They were like, but to tide you over.
I'm not a Castlevania person, but the Dead Cell Castlevania trailer looked really intriguing.
Good. Dead Cells is already a fun game, and Castlevania hasn't had a legitimate entry in a long time, so it's nice to see it at least getting some love.
Well, Castlevania made a huge comeback with that TV show on Netflix,
which
too.
I'm surprised, Konami, that didn't get you to get off your ass and make a new Castlevania game. But I guess if you can cash someone else's, game in and just slap your name on the side, count it. I don't know, but make a new Castlevania game, you cowards. New Katamari game, hell yeah! I love Katamari. Like, dude, this theme song. You can't hear it, but they'll hear it. But
Is that the squid?
no, that's
Katamari?
That's Splatoon.
Oh.
Katamari's the one about rolling big balls of everything around. And the king, and it goes.
You just put this on. You don't need to. They don't need to hear it.
Okay. That's what it goes. And they're great games. They're a lot of fun. I remember I got the first one in a demo disc, and then played it on my PS1 or PS2, and then later that year, Toonami did a review on it, and I was like, oh, I know that game, and it was cool. Life used to be so simple.
Speaking of Metro Prime. Metroid.
Fake gamer, guys.
I know. Metroid Prime Remastered.
Yeah, Metroid Prime Remastered. This is what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure that this has been in the can for a while.
They're just like, that one's...
Because they just released it. It's already available. It's on the eShop right now.
Okay.
Physical copies are coming on the 20th, but yeah, you can just go download it now. Xbox Developer Direct, we got a shadow drop of Hi-Fi Rush, great game. Nintendo, shadow drop of Metroid Prime Remastered. So, Sony, what you got? You get a shadow drop, Shadow Moses, and Metal Gear? That'd be cool. Honestly, dude, if they shadow drop a Metal Gear, if they stealth a Metal Gear game in, that's perfect marketing. Come on.
Just no notes, just dropping it in there.
It should be under a box in everyone's house.
This is something that, hey, this is yours now. This is something that I wasn't quite expecting, and I don't know why, because they've slowly been putting all the N64 games and the Super Nintendo games. But the Game Boy, select Game Boy and Game Boy Color, and some Game Boy Advance coming to
the Switch Online.
Are coming to the Switch, but it was Switch Online.
It's the expansion pass.
Expansion pass.
Yeah, so if you have the expansion pass and you're already getting the N64 games.
How does that work?
It's just
because I have online.
It's just a tier above that. They just called it the expansion pass because it's supposed to be the expansion packs that used to be for the N64 and stuff.
Oh.
It's a joke, but it's also more expensive.
I pay for too many online services.
Yeah, dude, it's a lot. So we had heard this rumor back in the middle part of last year that they had planned to release 30 or something Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy original games onto the eShop. And then that we later heard that they were going to be part of the online expansion pack. And so that they've just been kind of sitting there. This is both good and bad. I really like that they're doing this. I wish it was included in the standard Nintendo Switch Online.
Mm-hmm.
But this means that we're likely never going to get back to where Nintendo just makes their old games readily available to the public.
Where they did upon release.
Yeah, because it used to be, so back on the Wii U and the Wii and the 3DS and stuff, there was the Virtual Shop, which had emulated virtual versions of individual games from older systems that you could purchase and own.
Well, that was the first way on the Switch, too. When I first downloaded my Switch, there was 2 or 3
Yeah, there was the arcade archive.
Yeah.
And then they needed something to rival, I guess, not really, but to match up against what the other services for online were offering. So they decided to take all their stuff, vault it up, and make it only available in select number of things at a time. Which, to be fair, that makes sense from a marketing standpoint, from a pricing standpoint. But dude, I would rather pay individually for just the games I want than pay an extra $40 a year for the online
one
expansion
game.
pass.
Yeah.
Like, and I know they're going to get me eventually because they will eventually.
They're gonna put in Pokemon Yellow in there.
They'll put the original Pokemon games in there, dude. If they get around,
I'm a sucker. I'll be like, you know what? Fine.
If they get gold and silver on there, I'm done. Like I'm easy. I can't help it.
We talked about a lot on this show about the, going back and playing remastered versions of older games on newer systems. And how it like just feels weird too. For some, for others, it's like Last of Us still worked.
Yeah, I mean,
even like the remastered, not the Last of Us Part 1.
The less familiar the control scheme is to today's controller, the more it feels wrong.
Yeah. This, I'm sure it will be fine just because of the handheld nature of you're just reverting back to your childhood.
Switch basically has a built-in Game Boy controller.
Yeah, so I'm sure it'll be fine, but also, I don't know, seeing the black and white version of Mario on there, I was kind of like, oh, okay, do we want to... it'll be fun for like 2 days for me. I'm just saying, it's speaking weird. From the heart.
I think that there's a lot of games that were lost to time for the Game Boy, line that we just don't.
Nobody remembers the original. I mean, everybody remembers the original Game Boy, but it was like the Game Boy Color.
Yeah,
that was the one. You know what I mean?
For most people, Game Boy Color is where they picked it up. But like, I think that there's a lot of games that were lost to time in that time period that we just. I don't know if we'll get them added to this collection, but I think that would be the best way to use it is to bring some of these games that haven't had a sequel or a remaster or whatever in 30 years and put them on this console and let people play them.
Also,
all the Pokemon games.
Yeah, also not for nothing. I think the why the Game Boy was so fundamental in the charm of the Game Boy is how it's compact and portable. You're right here.
You hide it in your back.
Yeah, you're right here, like staring at it like this. Now, like you're kind of like you're carrying a tablet around.
Yeah, but they're gonna get bigger. I guarantee it.
I don't know. The one thing that everybody wanted to see was, and they saved it for last because why wouldn't they? Tears of the Kingdom trailer.
And then Zelda. They snuck it in at the last second. Switch first-party titles will officially be jumping up, starting with Legend of Zelda from $59.99 to $69.99.
Oh, great.
To match the prices of everyone else, despite their cartridges not costing more to make.
Big.
But still. Hey, Nintendo, you want to save money? Smaller cases. Right? Like,
stop putting. It's like you're like
the case is this big, and the cartridge is that big.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Why?
I'm not gonna lie to you. The first time that I opened one of those games, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be what?" Like, I really was like, I was genuinely shocked. I haven't been that shocked by.
Plastic was wasted when we had GameCube games, and those games were real weird looking too.
Big.
Or ship them in like paper, like reusable paper. I don't know, but there's got to be a better way than raising the price on your. Let's see here, 2017 and out. So what, like 6 years?
Yeah.
6-year-old console games that are nowhere near the level of what the other I know you're Nintendo. I know you are. But this is the most Nintendo shit you've ever done. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
I will pay for this game.
I hate that.
And I hate you.
I hate that the price of everything has gone up. But where we were, that like $55 was the max for a game for like a decade and a half.
Yeah,
it was like. Yeah. And then all of a sudden now there's $70. Paid $85 to play Hogwarts Simulator the other day.
Well, to play it early.
Yeah, to play it early.
Which means that they could have just released it on that day. But
exactly.
Like,
they got my money. They got my $15.
Me too, dude. They got all of us, and we're all playing it, and we'll talk about that next week. Which also, congrats to Hogwarts Legacy on breaking the Twitch streaming record for most concurrent viewers watching a game.
Cool.
All-time high for for them. So good job. But yeah, no, I like we've talked about before that the cost of game making has gone up significantly, but you're also making like so much money all the time. Not Nintendo, but yeah, everyone else like EA. There's no reason for your games to cost more.
We're running long, but thoughts. Let's wrap up with because I think people want to hear. Hogwarts Legacy is coming to the Switch in February. Which
and Hogwarts Legacy that's for.
Oh, on Friday. Sorry. So they didn't know. They didn't.
Hogwarts Legacy is coming to the Switch in July.
In July. Sorry, and that's gonna run great.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Real quick, just give your thoughts on Tears of the Kingdom. You know what I think about.
It's gonna be great. I mean, it's Zelda. It's Breath of the Wild 2. There's not much they can do to mess this up, except for raise the price $10.
Except for make the map even bigger. Just do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I give it a solid A for the.
I can't wait to play Shopping Simulator.
Hell yeah, Fashion Designer 101, whatever that game was.
A lot of fashion stuff going into the.
At least it was a lot less farming this time. That's all I'm gonna say. So just some. That's all we really had this week. Some quick notes about some upcoming stuff. Hogwarts Legacy does officially launch this coming Friday. So today. On the day. We'll have our review sometime next week, and we'll also have a special episode of Uplink where Royden, me, and our co-worker and co-conspirator here, Robbie, will be here to talk about all of our feelings about that game as fans, as reviewers, and as old men. We've also got Like a Dragon Ishin coming up here very soon on the 21st. We've got, I'm going to check my notes and see what I actually wrote. Hold on one second. I'm going to cut this part out probably. I won't remember. Just a reminder that your PS Plus games and Games with Gold have officially swapped over to the February titles. For PlayStation, that's Destiny 2, Mafia Remastered, Evil Dead, the game, and Ollie World. All excellent games, all worth picking up. Destiny 2 comes with the Beyond Light expansion, which is going to be handy for whenever you get into Lightfall at the end of February, which stand by for all that coverage too. And then for Games with Gold, I put blank because I forgot to go and check what they were, but I'm sure they're good. I'll put them on screen right now. There they are. Are those good games? Who can tell?
They're the best.
Wow. That one's crazy.
Incredible.
I can't believe that.
Wow.
You're telling me that that's free?
That one.
I can't believe that. Someone feel free to clip that and put whatever you want right there. As always, subscribe to Hardwired for more of the Uplink and all of the other content we do. We do as much content as we physically can. We plan to bring you lots of reviews this year, lots of news.
For me, it's an emotional problem, not a physical problem.
All right. But, so make sure you subscribe. Be sure to leave a like on this video if you enjoy the content that we do. That does help us out a lot. And drop us a comment with what was your favorite reveal from the Nintendo Direct. And what are you still hoping to see revealed this year? Because I feel like there's still a lot of blanks here that we could have filled in. But for Uplink, I'm Andrew Hamilton. That's Roy Ogletree.
Stream The Last of Us on HBO, episode 5 dropping today.
Today, on this day.
On this day that this is releasing.
On this day of our Lord and Savior, Neil Druckmann.
Oh.